Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm just going to explain how the large language model Gemini 2.5 latest model helped me to fix a very complicated infrastructure issue related to the Postgres server and the Airbyte setup. So what exactly the Airbyte is? In a simple term, Airbyte is an open source data movement infrastructure for building and extract and load. Right. So what I was trying to do is I was having two databases on Postgres server where what I want is I want a complete data replication from one database to the another database. And that is where I was trying to set up a Airbyte based batch processing on the scheduled job. Right. So when I was trying to do that, I was supposed to set up the Postgres. When you have to set up a Postgres at that point of time, you have to just create the replication slot and the publication. I was using, the Docker command, Docker compose, to just set up the Postgres. But I was not aware how to just set up, the replication slot and the publication because that is a new concept for me. Right. And that is where when I asked, okay, how, you can just provide me the Postgres, the setup for the Docker compose where I can set up a WAL label, which is a write ahead log, which is required to set as a logical, which you can see on my screen. If I have to figure this out through the documentation, I have to spend hours to figure all these things out. So to create a replication slot, which is responsible for replicate the data and creating a publication, which actually tells what all tables, you want to replicate through the replication slot, right? So that is where, LLM helped me a lot. It's not only explain me, how the Docker command has to be configured for setting up the WAL label as a logical, which is needed. And it also helped me to just provide me the entire init SQL where I can just not only create the replication slot, but we can also create a required user with the required roles, right? So here you can see, when I ask, okay, I want to just set up, the Postgres on the Airbyte so that I can move the data from one database to the another. Then if you just see, this is what I requested. Though it took really a long time. When I say long time, it's not that if I spend hour, it's just in few minutes. I requested, right? I want to set up a ABCTL utility, which is a needed utility through which you can install a Airbyte. Then, I have to just not only set up a WAL as a logical, but I want to create a replication slot and all this stuff. So that is where it not only just provided me the complete the Docker compose, but there was some issues, which I just came across. Then I just keep asking the questions, like whatever the error I was getting, you can see there are multiple, iterations, but just in few iteration, I think one or two, I was able to not only set up a Postgres, but I was able to just create the replication and the publication along with the user, which is required by Airbyte. All you need to do whenever you are going to take a help from the large language model for such a complicated thing, you have to just provide the proper context, like what you are trying to set up, how you are setting that up, what kind of utility you are using, and what issue you are running into, right? Once that is done, which you can see on my screen, I was able to just have this Postgres up and running with all the required replication and all, right? You can see here, everything was just created because, the LLM just provided me that what should be my init.sql should look like, which I can directly feed through my Docker compose, which you can see on my screen. So why I'm explaining all these things? Because I know if I don't have these LLM, available, then I have to spend hours, not only on the Airbyte, website, but I have to spend a lot of time on a Docker, like based on what image we are using. I am using a Postgres official image. If I will be using a Bitnami or from any other vendor, then I have to read through the documentation. I have to understand all those things, which I don't need to do anymore because I can just take the help from the LLM and just fix all those issues in a just matter of few minutes, right? Though sometimes you have to, have some multiple iterations. But as I mentioned in my previous video, whenever you get into the situation where, LLMs are giving a similar kind of response, but I just get a lot of different issues when I was trying to set up a Airbyte. The main issue what I was getting into is which was related to a replication slot. I just created a replication slot on a different database, but that database was not a in source for me. So this replication slot has to be created on a source. Rather, I created on a source. I just mistakenly created on a destination, but LLM was able to help me that precisely the issue that I am having this replication, on a different database, which is not supposed to be there, right? So this is where that issue was happening, right? So it was able to figure it out that, okay, your slot is actually on the database Postgres, but this is supposed to happen on student success database. And then it instructed I have to create there. And then once I do that, I was able to set up, my source, right? When I created a source, I was able to just have the syncing related setups on the Airbyte. Though there is some problem, but that problem is more specific to the how the data is syncing. So I again asked this question. Okay, now the syncing is not happening, and then again I just got some suggestions which I am gonna apply. But I'm 100% sure once I apply all these, then I will be able to fix the issue which I am getting on a Airbyte. So it's a very complicated workflow where you have to just keep syncing the change data from the one database to the another with the help of an Airbyte. So it's required a very complicated setup, which the documentation, though the documentation on Airbyte Postgres is very comprehensive, but it's very time consuming to understand each and everything from those documents, how to set that up. And that is where these large language models are really helping us a lot. Right. I hope this kind of video is helpful for you guys. If you really like this video, please give a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed for my channel, I would highly recommend you to, I would highly request you to just subscribe for my channel as well. Right. And as always, stay healthy and keep learning new things. And thanks for watching my videos.